My expectation of Unbound is that it is going to be a really grueling day out on the bike. I'm Chelsea Bolton. I am a cyclist. I also love to bake and I love dogs. I've always been someone who's wanted to be an athlete. Having a career in athletics has been something I've wanted to do probably as long as I can remember. I've always looked up to athletes and just thought that being an athlete was the coolest job ever. So that thread of who I am has stayed with me. I think I've always wanted to find that thing that I could be the best at. Finding that combination of what you're the best at and what you love is something that I think about all the time. So far, the closest I've got is cycling. And as a kid, of course, I often wouldn't do things the best. And my mom would go and redo them. If I came back, and I'd be so excited about getting an A on the paper, but if it was a 97 and not 100, she'd be like, well, why didn't you get 100? You should get 100 next time. Everyone I've met through cycling have been all my favorite people. So I think it seems like the people who like cycling are just really good people and really fun. And you get to go to so many places, and even being here in Kansas. I'm from the Midwest. I've always been really excited about Kansas, probably more so than a lot of people. Even though I had great expectations, the gravel scene here has exceeded all the good things that I had anticipated in coming. And being on these roads with just other cyclists, hardly any other cars, all the cute cows that we saw, it's just so fun and so neat. And it just reminds you of how lucky we are to be able to ride our bikes in all these cool places and see a part of the country and even the world that a lot of people don't get to experience.
You've never done a gravel race on a gravel bike, is that correct?
That's correct. I've yet to do 200 miles at all, even in training, and so it'll be the longest time I've been on a bike. But there's also that really exciting part about doing something you've never done before. On these super empty roads for the most part, and then because there's so many racers, there's always someone around, never too far from where you're at, and it's kind of a comforting feeling because oftentimes you're out here and there's nobody. And it was also really cool to see the spectators and a lot of the local people coming out and cheering from the side. All of a sudden you'd be going in the middle of nowhere, and on the corner there'd be a family sitting on lawn chairs and cheering and clapping, and that was really cool.
Yeah, just help yourself, whatever's on the table. We live out here, just wanting to see the people go by. Just
helping, support,
waving, saying hi, shooting photos. Morning. Hello. Water. Candy, help yourself, whatever you like. Bye.
Thank you.
You bet.
I felt like I was in a good position going into the mud section. Then the whole crew kind of got splintered when we all hit the mud, and I ran quite a bit, which was good because my bike was just covered in mud, and it seemed like running was kind of the best option at that point. And felt really good going into the first aid. I was finally getting my speed back, holding some good power, and then the heat started picking up, and I made the awful mistake of consuming all the aid station fluids I had taken in like less than 2 hours. And so looking back, I realized I consumed 2,000 calories worth of super fuel and scratch hydration in less than 2 hours. And that was pretty detrimental to my stomach. And then proceeded to puke for the next 25 miles. I still consider myself a new rider, and I still don't think I'm 100%, well, actually I know I'm not 100% comfortable on a bike, but I'm not letting that stop me from embarking on some of these crazy races or long distances. And I think oftentimes for a lot of people, cycling or doing some sort of activity that kind of requires a bit more skill or technique or knowledge can be really hard to get into. And it's so cool to just kind of get on a bike or whatever that new activity is and just learn as you go, and it ends up not being as daunting as you initially think. And I think that's been the coolest part. I remember first learning about mountain biking and thought it was the craziest thing. Couldn't believe people would, ride on these narrow trails like up in the mountains, and how scary that must be. And now it's like my favorite thing to do. So while I feel old in this sport, I also am trying not to let that stop me either, because I think it's always important just to keep finding what you like to do and try to do those things more often. Right when I was feeling super not great, could first hear the thunder and then saw some lightning, and then all of a sudden it started raining, and then it was like a torrential downpour, and I was riding in this section and I had water like up to my knees, and you're just like riding through it and like hoping there are no crazy rocks under you. But it was just amazing how quickly these roads can flood and fill with water, and you're dealing with the water on the ground, but it's also like coming down like on your face and like in your eyes, and yeah, it was wild. I'm not covered in vomit at the moment, yeah. Yeah.
What's hurting the most?
My stomach. Anytime I try to, I'm really thirsty, but every time I try to drink anything, it just comes right out. So I can't drink, I can't eat.
You thrown up?
I feel, yeah.
How many times have you thrown up?
At least 10. It's so neat that there's a race and an event that can bring together such a large community of people to support so many people, like Unbound. And then this morning, going out, getting up, and everything is calm, quiet, Emporia seems to be back to its normal self. And it's that reminder that yeah, life goes on. Not every day is a race. Not every day you're out with a million people on roads that people normally aren't on. But at the end of the day, you just gotta keep your head up and keep going. And there'll be other days. And next year we'll all be back, hopefully, and trying to conquer Unbound again. But it's kind of that little reminder that as frustrated and disappointed and as sad as we can get about races and days not going our way, that there are other days, and it's not over, and we'll get another opportunity to try again.